A certain young man from Apugo, in Kano West local government area, Enugu State, woke up one early morning and began to sharpen his cutlass on a stone. The young man continued to sharpen the cutlass on a stone until it was sharp enough to shave the human hair. And then the man walked up to his father and cut off his head. That man's name was called Nnamani-Nwishaboku. Nnamani-Nwishaboku is a young man from Apugo, Enugu State, in Kano West, that woke up one early morning and beheaded his father. And here's what happened. Nnamani-Nwishaboku was once a native doctor in his life. And so in those olden days, a certain chief in Apugo invited Nnamani-Nwishaboku to come and perform charm for him. Because when a man gets money, the next question becomes protection. And in the olden days, the perfect way men show themselves is through charm. So this man, having heard about the prowess ability of this native doctor, his excellence in harnessing herbs for protection, invited Nnamani-Nwishaboku from a different clan to come and perform charm for him. So the native doctor came and began to cook the medicine. These are medicine that were done in days. So the native doctor was supposed to sleep in the chief's house. But in the olden days, there is this ideology that when you use the head of a native doctor that prepares charm for you to put in the charm becomes everlasting. There is this instinct that if you use the head of the native doctor that performs charm for you to put in the charm becomes indestructible. The charm becomes everlasting, durable. So on this night, while the native doctor was sleeping, after performing the charm, the chief came into the room and killed the native doctor. The chief killed native doctor so that nobody can be able to destroy the medicine the man did for him. And then carried his bag, his divination bag, and hung in his room. Nobody knew what happened. After all, the native doctor came from a different clan. But as years goes by, the chief continued to reproduce children. In those days, a man, even at age 60, 70, is still giving birth. A man is still marrying a wife at age 60-something, 70 years. So the man continued to give birth. And then he gave birth to a young boy. And the boy continued to grow full of strength and energy. But in a particular morning, the energy of the previous life of the young man came upon him. And this young man went inside his room, picked up a cutlass, went through a stone, sat down and began to sharpen the cutlass on the stone. And as he was sharpening the cutlass, he was twisting it before the sun until it was able to reflect sunlight. He was sharpening the cutlass until the cutlass was sharp enough to shave even a human hair. The young boy walked up to his father and says, "Give me my divination bag." At that point, he dawned on the chief that this young boy I gave birth to was the same chief priest I killed in his previous life. The young man entered his room and brought out the divination bag of the young boy and gave it to the small boy. And the young boy picked the cutlass and cut off this man's head. I'm not telling you a fiction story. I mentioned his name, Nnamani-Nwishaboku. I mentioned his village, Apugo. I mentioned his local government, Nkanu West. I mentioned his state, Enugu State, so you can go and verify. Because the man's children is still alive till today. The message I'm trying to pass this afternoon is the principle of reincarnation. The principle of reincarnation. It's important for us to realize that men don't die. Man is energy that is on a process of continual living. The only thing that happens that we call death is process of energy renewal. That this particular flesh I'm carrying has become weak. It can no longer carry the energy in me. So what this flesh does is that it goes beneath the ground. It dies and is buried. So the energy in me can find a new flesh and come back again. Follow me carefully. There is a young man in Nigeria acting film called Zubi Michael. If you look at the face of Zubi Michael, you will see a kind of a mark, black mark in front of his face. And if you watch his interviews, you will discover that mark on his face was not given to him by sustaining injury. No, sir. He was born with it. It was a man in the previous life where he was coming from that sustained that injury. And so as Zubi Michael was born, the injury the young boy was carrying on his face already explained who the young man is. So the lineage of the man didn't die. What the man did was to change flesh and come back again. In the days that we give birth to people we called Obanje was ignorance of sickle cell. The elders will come and carry the child and mutilate one of his fingers. They will cut off one of his fingers. You discover they give birth to another child, and the child will have 4 fingers. The fingers is not complete. Why? Because children don't die. Man don't die. Man only drop this flesh to find another flesh to come back. This is the reason why young boys, many young boys today are struggling because they have felt the job of self-realization. If you understand the principle of reincarnation, the first question becomes self-realization. Who I am. If you know who you are and where you are coming from, you will know the pathway towards which you are moving to. You will know that this was the loins that was flowing in my blood, in our blood. People give birth to children, and as small as the boy is, the boy begin to pick herbs. You just discover you gave birth to a man who is a native doctor, who was born to heal sickness in the olden days. You gave birth to a little boy, and the little boy just walks up to you and says, Mommy, do you know our brother living in Lagos will come back tomorrow? And you ask the boy, how do you know he will come back tomorrow? The boy says, Mommy, he will come back. The boy don't even have a phone. The next morning, you will see the person he told you he will come back coming back. That boy was born from the lineage of prophecy. In his own archive, he carries the energy that has transcended to men, that sees what will happen even before it happens. You give birth to a young boy, and the young boy, in all his sincerity, without any training, the young boy can press bone on our. These are ancestral lineage. There are people who in their lineage, you give birth to them, and you start seeing them talking if they are alone. These ones have the lineage of madness. Something needs to be done to be able to separate the young boy from there. You see a young boy, as little as young boy is, if you keep something, he will pick it. It was because the loins where he was coming from, thief follows in his vein. There is an energy that must be done to separate him from stealing. You see, the reason why in the olden days, when a young man wants to go and marry, they will first ask the young man, go and ask her lineage. Because they knew, if you marry her and her lineage produce native doctor, if you marry her, she give birth to you for 3 sons. One among them must be native doctor. One must come. That energy must come into your compound. Mana Hazish, Laska Hadozi. The then I'm taking my WhatsApp group. We will pour energy. The first job a man must do is self-realization. You see, that's my WhatsApp group. I have not begun teaching this year because I'm still in the village. But if I catch you in that WhatsApp group, I will cook you. You will come to know who you are. You are struggling because the business you are doing is not in your lineage. Go and ask. The family of Chimalo Kennaman has been leading our body since his the first warrant chief. Leadership runs in their vein. Go and ask. The family of Mbaka has been native doctor since onset. Native doctor runs in their vein. They go and ask about Adede. Go and ask about Matthias Ezak. Everybody's lineage has that thing you are doing. Your grandfather did it before you. You didn't die. Look at my hands. You will see my own mark. I didn't sustain it. I was born and I saw it. It was somebody in my own lineage that carries that same energy, and we are living extension of it. A man don't die. The day a man died was the day the man died without reproduction. The real meaning of eternal life was survivor. Child, I will cook you. The day I will catch you in my WhatsApp group. There is an ancestral instinct of survivor. The reason why you have been in Lagos for 30-something years and without success is because you are doing something which is not in alignment with your energy. You are trying to force it to work. The day you will find alignment, you will no longer struggle. You will be like a fish inside a river. You will easily flow. For those who are interested in joining our Light of Africa Renaissance, come. This is time we open up our hands for you. We start this year with self-realization. Oh yes, self-realization.